Lebanon's President Michel Aoun finished his six-year term this Sunday, leaving the presidential palace earlier on foot and leaving Lebanon in an unprecedented situation. Before going, the man who resided over the country's cataclysmic financial meltdown and the deadly blast at Beirut's port approved the resignation of the caretaker government. For more, let's cross to Beirut, speak to our correspondent, Rawad Taha. Hello to you, Rawad. Just tell us, what is the latest?
So the latest is really a very serious political vacuum that is unprecedented in the past 20 or 30 years after the 1990s. So what we're seeing exactly is that President Aoun walked out of the presidential palace, addressed his supporters, and the first thing he mentioned is that he has approved the resignation of the caretaker government. Why is this a big issue? Usually, the resignation of a caretaker government is not approved before the formation of a new government. So without the formation of a new government, President Michel Aoun has approved the resignation of the caretaker government. Usually, the government is the entity responsible to carrying on with the presidential duties of Lebanon if there is a vacuum in the presidential palace, which is the case. So right now, the big question is, will this caretaker government, which Aoun approved its resignation, be able to compile or continue with the duties of the president? And this is mainly because of the clash between President Michel Aoun, who just left the presidential palace, and the caretaker Prime Minister Najib Mikati.
Yeah, and the government structure in Lebanon, very complex. Raud, I don't need to tell you, Lebanon is reeling. That might be an understatement. These vacuums likely won't be filled quickly. So what will happen in the meantime?
In the meantime, the parliament will try to convene a session early next Monday to try to elect the president, which is not an easy mission for a stagnant parliament at this point. The parliament needs a two-thirds majority to elect a president in the first round, and then it needs a simple majority to elect a president in the second round. However, the quorum or for the session to take place is a two-thirds majority. So you need 86 parliament members to be present inside the session. So this leaves the option for parties or blocs to boycott if in order to leverage for the candidate that they are supporting. And this is really the big issue. A blocking third is available for Hezbollah and its allies, and a blocking third is available for the bloc which does not support Hezbollah and their allies as well. So this is really a stagnant parliament, and reaching consensus on a president is far from the reach early next week, as far as we know. And during this political vacuum, it's really important for things to keep going in a way that we also see that the government, the caretaker government, still is be able to implement any of the reforms needed to actually implement an IMF package at a time when the economy is in dire need of such reform.
A very difficult and complex situation in Beirut. But Rawad, thank you for breaking it down. Rawad Taha reporting from Beirut.